Setting the internet on fire yesterday, a massive story dropped from Politico revealing a blackmail pressure campaign led by Gavin Wax against other young Republican leaders was successful. This resulted in Michael Bartels, a Trump administration official, turning over hundreds of private chat logs to Gavin Wax, who then sent the logs to Politico himself after working with the news publication over an extended timeline, betraying all of his peers and aligning himself with hostile media. Nick Fuentes, doing a roadshow for the first time in what feels like years, offers his take on the story.
But really, fuck Gavin Wax. Everybody needs to text him and say, hey, fuck you, man. If you know him, if you have his number, if you're in politics, you have an obligation to say, hey, man, fuck you, if this story's true. Because it's like you have betrayed everybody. And, thanks for proving the stereotype, too, by the way. I will have nothing to do with anyone who's involved with him. I'm not going to hang out with somebody that leans on people and threatens litigation, allegedly. Threatening litigation to get the text messages. I'm going to tell on you to Politico because you made a joke. Because I didn't win student council president in the Young Republicans. Like, fuck you, dude. F you. Total dirtbag. So, maybe I'll be eating these words later if there's proof that this is not him. But I very strongly suspect that is the case, even though it's alleged. And I will get to the bottom of it. But if that's true, no quarter for traitors like that. Disgusting filth. No surprises either. I would not even be the slightest. I would not be surprised in the slightest, because they're going to put this out to Politico, and the headline is going to be Generation Z, the young white men are all Nazis. We have a Nazi problem. And what do you think this does for every under 30 white Republican, white man, conservative in politics? Huge target on their backs. This puts pressure on TikTok and X to censor. It puts pressure on Republicans to denounce and close ranks and tighten up.
And that is exactly what is happening right now, with nearly all active chapters already posting their denouncements and disavows.
And it gives the left ammunition because it justifies, especially after what happened, not just that Charlie Kirk was shot, but that so many of the left-wing people were punished for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, read the room. So if this story is true, then that means Gavin Wax is a traitor to his generation, to young white men, to right-wingers, to free speech, all of it. And of course, it should not be lost on anybody who Gavin Wax is. And, listen, I've talked to Gavin Wax before. I think I have. I'm not a fan of the guy. And, people have said, he likes you, he wants to meet you, this sort of thing. But at the end of the day, guy's Jewish. And not only that, it's not just that, okay? Which is, people might say, well, he's part of the Zionist Organization of America. Isn't he sent up to be in the World Zionist Congress in some kind of position? The guy's deeply embedded in pro-Israel politics. That's no coincidence. Think about the time and place. He's from New York City, Jewish, president of the New York Young Republicans. He's sent up for a position, I think it's either the ZOA or the WJC. I'm not making that up. He's either a delegate for the ZOA or the WJC, or the WZO, World Zionist Organization or Zionist Organization of America. I didn't do my research before the show. This is once again, my debate with Gavin McInnes came out yesterday and the second part came out today. They're constantly insisting it's factional, that you've got these left-wing Jews and right-wing Jews and they're fighting each other. And yet, where are they on Holocaust Memorial Day? You got the chair of the NYYRC, a very edgy right-wing club, allegedly, ostensibly new right, affiliated with some of these right-wing parties in Germany and in Europe, and they're sitting down right there with the Senate Majority Leader, former Senate Majority Leader for the Democrats. So where's the partisan, where's the factional dispute there? And so I saw that and I said, yeah, I don't care what anybody says. I don't like this guy. I don't trust this guy. It'd be one thing if he was just Jewish. Look, it's New York. A lot of Jews live there. A lot of Jews on the board of the NYYRC. It is what it is. But he's a delegate for Zionist organizations. He's meeting up with Chuck Schumer. He's doing the whole Holocaust grift. And then, surprise, surprise, he's throwing all of his compatriots under the bus to get back over the student council president election for the young Republicans. Aren't you a little old for that, pal? Don't you have a job at the State Department? Like, why do you need that? So if that story is true, and I don't know that it is 100%, I've heard a few different versions of the story, but that's the one that sounds convincing to me. Dude, this guy has to be expelled from everything. Like, he should be the one that should get canceled. Because I think we all recognize, whatever the disputes, factional disputes within the right wing, the left literally wants us dead.
And explicitly so. Don't forget about Jay Jones, a man who is still running for Attorney General in Virginia after texts were published that revealed he wanted to inflict harm on his political opponents.
We know that after Charlie Kirk was killed, and before people flip out, whether you believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by a leftist or not, it does not change the fact that leftists celebrated. So what does that tell us? Whether Charlie was killed by the RNC or the Mormon Mafia or Israel or whatever, okay, which are all, potential suspects, the left celebrated regardless. They made action figures, T-shirts, they danced, they laughed. Maliciously, they crashed the vigils. That's who they are. And Charlie Kirk was to the left of all of us. I mean, he was probably to the left of NYYRC, almost everybody in there. Left of all the Groypers, everyone in the group chat. And they wanted him dead for his views. And so, like I said, read the room. If you're feeding your fellow Gen Z, white, pro-America compatriots to the left on the basis that they are racist Nazis for saying the N-word, you're worse than the left. Like, you're worse than the enemy. You're a traitor. Who could ever trust this guy ever again? Where's the discretion? It doesn't exist.
Additionally, in a rare moment for Nick, gives praise to J.D. Vance, who stood for the young men by highlighting J. Jones' text as being far worse.
Have to say, I've been pleasantly surprised from Vance. And Vance is my number one op. And I have major problems with him. But he has been remarkably consistent on this across the board. For me, when I was banned on Twitter, he defended me. For Big Balls or whoever it was in that. I don't think it was Big Balls. It was another one of those guys. His name starts with a K. I forget it. But he defended that guy when he got canceled. And now he's defending these young Republicans. And I never thought I'd see it ever. But Republicans are finally learning to play the whatabout game. The whataboutism game. And I think that's absolutely overdue. And of course, I'm referring to the fact that a month ago, you had people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. You've got Democrats running for office that want to kill Republicans. And apparently that's fine. But then a Republican group chat gets leaked and it's young white kids. They're being controversial and then they're going to get hanged. They're going to get their lives destroyed. Why would we play along with that? We're in power. They should not be fired.
And so this is kind of where I'm at with it. I completely agree with Nick on Gavin Wax. If this is true, he needs expelled and he needs to stay very, very, very far away from politics for a very long time, if not forever. I think him being permanently blacklisted from any kind of political organization, well, especially on the right, hey, the left can have him. Beyond that, the real story actually isn't even the messages. It's actually, how is the right wing going to respond? And we're already seeing two different kinds of responses. We're seeing J.D. Vance, who can literally, seemingly, for the first time ever, read the room. And then you have the typical status quo response from Republicans, which is more of the same, actually. Disavowal, denounce, oh my gosh, racism's the worst thing. That's the greatest sin of all of America. Another thing I would point out would be if these guys who are ostensibly to the left of us are saying this in private logs, imagine what the average conservative group chat looks like who doesn't have a watching eye over them. If these guys felt that they could send these messages knowing that they probably had people looking over their shoulder, well, imagine what the average construction crew is sending themselves at 9:30 in the morning. We have to stop lying to ourselves. This only hurts us, our youth, our futures, to continue to put on these appearances when everybody knows behind closed doors we're saying the complete opposite. This kind of two-faced nature to republicanism is ultimately the biggest flaw. If we would just honestly adopt the actual mainstream positions that everybody is too afraid to say publicly for fear of their job, then maybe we would get past this hurdle. The point there is if we keep knocking the doors down on culture, it provides softer landing zones for, say, people like JD Vance when they go, you know what, I'm not going to pearl clutch here. He's able to do that because he knows there is a healthy, breathable amount of the culture that will look at what he's doing and go, yes, actually, I agree with him. I don't find the messages per se to be great by any means, but I'm not going to clutch my pearls about someone saying mean words about black people when the Democrats are literally running candidates and not pushing for them to leave the race after they wished harm against somebody else's children. But that is where I will leave it. Let me know your thoughts, if I missed anything, and like always, I will see you guys in the comments. Peace.
Smash that like button.